Back outside with look at that temperature. It's below 50. That means there's a wind chill.
It's pretty cool.
There's a breeze blowing.
Well, there is a breeze. That is definitely true.
So there's a wind chill.
We've seen some wind gusts upwards of about 25 to 30 miles per hour today, and that's likely going to stick with us throughout the remainder of the afternoon. So yes, when you combine the breeze with the cloud cover, the rain-cooled air, all of those ingredients together is going to make for a chilly and damp Thursday across south central Texas. Now, yes, this morning we saw widespread rain push across the San Antonio area, really along and east of I-35 is where the bulk of that activity has been so far this Thursday. Again, as of this lunch hour, not a ton going on in our neck of the woods when it comes to the radar. You can see the better activity is near the Austin area and closing in on Bryan College Station north of LaGrange. For us here in south central Texas, we've got a few lingering showers across portions of the hill country near the I-10 corridor in Kerrville, a few lingering downpours in northern Gonzales County. That is all moving farther up to the northeast. And then we've been monitoring this scattered activity that's really developed and taken shape over the past 30 to 45 minutes. You can see that is stretching closer to the 181 corridor as well as I-37 out there, southern Atascosa County, which is one of the areas that picked up on anywhere between 4 to even 6 inches of rainfall with the training thunderstorms that we saw last night. So again, all of that is moving farther up to the north near Kennedy, Fall City, Poth, Floresville. That's going to continue pushing up that way. So we'll keep eyes on that. Here in San Antonio, we're actually pretty dry right now, but those roads are still a little damp out there. And yes, as David was mentioning, it is chilly. We are in the upper 40s and low 50s, and we likely are going to hold on to the 50s over the next several hours. Now into tomorrow, we do still have some additional rain chances that are in the forecast, so don't get rid of the umbrella just yet. Off and on, it's not going to be all day and all night and all day tomorrow in your neck of the woods, but we will keep eyes on that. And then of course into the Easter weekend, we do look to dry things out just in time for the Easter Bunny. So we'll have a full look at that 3-day outlook and what we're expecting coming up in just a few, guys.
Thank you, Mia. Now to more potential difficulties for former President Donald Trump following his indictment in New York earlier this week as former Vice President Mike Pence now moves one step closer to testifying about January 6th.
ABC's Rachel Scott reports while the former president faces 34 felony charges, his top aide, the vice president, is apparently agreeing to testify, but with some stipulations.
Federal prosecutors could be just weeks away from hearing from a key witness, former Vice President Mike Pence. After months of resistance, Pence agreeing to testify on a slightly narrowed set of topics stemming from a subpoena for his testimony, clearing the way for him to speak to the grand jury investigating the efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
So you may be willing to testify on other matters, just not specifically your role.
I'm going to stand firm on the Constitution of the United States. We'll let the courts sort that out.
On January 6th, Pence was pressured by Trump and taunted by the mob. He says he repeatedly told the former president he could not throw out the election results.
President Trump is wrong. I had no right to overturn the election.
Trump's once loyal vice president is just the latest former aide compelled to testify by a federal judge, a sign that special counsel Jack Smith's probe is closing in on Trump's role, including in the January 6th attack itself.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Smith is also investigating Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. Trump, who was already facing 34 felony charges, denied wrongdoing in both cases.
Pence is expected to testify in the coming weeks. The big question, will Donald Trump try to appeal it? We know the former president has tried to keep other top aides, including his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, from testifying, and those efforts have failed. Rachel Scott, ABC News, West Palm Beach.
The U.S. Attorney's Office opening up a civil rights investigation into a bizarre encounter between two Parks police officers, U.S. Parks police officers, and a sleeping 17-year-old boy. Now that teenager is dead. Newly released body cam video of that incident shows officers quietly approaching the back of a vehicle they believe was stolen on March 18th in Washington, D.C. 17-year-old Delanio Martin was asleep behind the wheel of the car while it was running. No sooner than they got in the car, Martin woke up, struggled with the officer, and he sped away. But the officer who couldn't get out of the speeding vehicle ended up shooting the teenager. The boy's mother says that he and the officers should be identified and prosecuted.
I want justice served appropriately for them all. But the officer that shot my son, executed him, I want him locked up.
Police point to the fact that the car crashed into a home and the officer who shot Martin gave him CPR but was unable to save his life.
Overseas, China officials warning the U.S. not to provoke them over Taiwan and its alliances with other countries. A day after the Taiwanese president met with U.S. lawmakers, China flexing its own diplomatic muscles, hosting French President Macron and the head of the European Commission, while the former Taiwanese president tours the U.S. China also is warning the country that supporting Taiwanese independence would be a, quote, red line. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and the Taiwanese president say independence was the reason for their meeting.
Your Big Apple summer flying plans might be cut shorter by a shortage of air traffic controllers. Major airlines now considering cuts to certain airports to prevent delays. American Airlines says it plans to slash service at 2 major New York area airports, and both United and Delta have asked the Federal Aviation Administration for permission to trim up to 10% of their flights in this busy region. Nationwide, 2 in 10 air traffic controller positions are unfilled. The union representing air traffic controllers says staffing levels have dropped 10% over the last decade. A member of one of the most prominent political families in U.S. history may be running for president. This guy, how he might continue his family's legacy in the White House.
And a potential vaccine for RSV might soon be available for public use. How vaccine makers are hoping the FDA approves it soon to help those suffering with respiratory illness.
Lawmakers in the state of Kansas overriding the governor's veto regarding transgender athletes. What this means for the future of sports in Kansas from elementary school to college.
Hello everyone, these are your top headlines from Cheddar News. International travel is on the rise, that according to AAA. Airline bookings are up more than 200% compared to 2022. Europe and Canada, the most popular destinations, with Rome, Paris, Vancouver, and Dublin as some of the hotspots. London in particular has seen a 350% increase in travelers compared to last year. Meanwhile, FedEx will combine almost all of its ground, air, and other operations by next year as part of a $4 billion cost-cutting plan. The company says FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, FedEx Services, and other FedEx operating companies will now be rolled into a single entity by June 2024. This in a company-wide reorganization. And the Environmental Protection Agency is proposing a new rule. This would slash mercury and other pollution from coal-fired plants by up to 70%. It would also require them to monitor emissions in real time and also supply that data to the EPA. That proposal would be the strongest update to mercury restrictions since 2012. And that's your check.
Transgender athletes in Kansas will no longer be able to compete in school sports consistent with their gender identity. The state's Republican-controlled legislature overrode a veto by Democratic Governor Laura Kelly. Kelly has tried to block the Fairness in Women's Sports Act, which requires female student athletic teams to only include members who are biologically female. The law applies to athletes in kindergarten through college, and the bill now goes into effect July 1st.
The world's first ever RSV vaccine for adults just got a little closer to reality. Pfizer, which has been testing this vaccine, said that they have asked the Food and Drug Administration to approve it. Researchers say the late-stage trial shows potential for adults 60 and older. The vaccine reportedly prevented RSV-associated lower respiratory tract illnesses like acute bronchitis and pneumonia. Pfizer says the vaccine was also effective in late-stage pregnancies, which could extend the protection to newborn infants, and that's important. The FDA's vaccine advisors have voted in favor of approving the vaccine, along with a similar one that was developed by another company.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to run for the Democratic nomination for president. The 69-year-old environmental lawyer said in March he was considering a run. He said his top priority will be to, quote, end the corrupt merger between state and corporate power. Kennedy is the son of Senator Robert F. Kennedy and the nephew of President John F. Kennedy.
We want to take a look outside with live cam. This has been a trouble spot all morning long. This is 281 at Hildebrand headed northbound, and they are basically forcing everybody to get off on that exit because there is an accident up ahead. It looks as though there's some activity. They're removing the cones. Perhaps in just a moment, they're going to begin letting people go north on 281 at Hildebrand.
Yep, there were a lot of travel issues out there earlier this morning just because of the rain and thunderstorms that we had move through. And because of that as well, yes, a cooler than average day here in San Antonio, only up to 51 right now. So temperatures not really budging a whole lot. We will struggle to get out of the 50s today. And yes, while here in San Antonio, we might not be seeing as heavy as the rain as that we saw earlier this morning, we are starting to see some more activity develop, especially across our southeastern counties and the coastal plains. We'll have another full check at the radar and your Futurecast coming up after the break.
Levels of planet-warming gases continue to rise in the atmosphere in 2022. That is according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They report last year methane saw its fourth largest annual increase since their measurements started back in 1983. Methane gas comes from landfills and farms. It also is the main component of natural gas used to heat homes and cook. NOAA's report also says carbon dioxide was 50% higher last year. Scientists say CO2 remains by far the most critical contributor to climate change and has significantly increased because of the widespread use of fossil fuels.
The Midwest tornado season turning into a killing field with severe weather taking aim there and taking lives. The mayor of Louisville, Kentucky said that at least one person died after a tornado struck there. Then this series of tornadoes obliterating homes and structures in southeastern Missouri. An EF2 tornado with winds of 130 miles an hour decimating parts of Bollinger County. It was responsible for killing at least 5 people and injuring many others when it struck early in the morning. Governor Mike Parson, seeing this destruction firsthand, made a grim prediction.
When you look at the devastation of this, it's going to be weeks upon months to be able to recover.
2 affected survivors say they took shelter from the storm in their bathtubs. They say the emergency phone notifications woke them up in the middle of the night, and that is what probably saved their lives.
Outside with live cam. Oh, no, we're not going to live cam. I thought we were going to show some clouds and some rain coming down, but I guess we'll...
No, we're going to show the very busy and should be tired by now, Mia Montgomery.
Hey, I'm just happy that we're seeing some rain.
Yeah.
We need it so badly. So yes, happy that we've been able to deliver in terms of those rain chances last night and into today. And while yes, we are catching a little bit of a break right now here in San Antonio, don't put away the rain gear just yet because we are not finished with those rain chances. In fact, we still are going to hold on to the potential to find some additional scattered to, yes, maybe even widespread activity later on this afternoon into the evening tonight. And that lingers into our Friday as well. Now, as we head into the upcoming Easter weekend, we are going to start to dry things out, especially by overnight Friday and into early Saturday. And temperatures are going to start to warm there as well. So today and tomorrow, we're expected to stay in the 50s. I think this weekend, Saturday, we're closer to 70. And then into Easter Sunday, we should see those temperatures climb into the mid 70s. And then into early next week, we do still have a few isolated chances for rain in the forecast, especially Monday and Tuesday. Those temperatures are going to keep warming up. So yes, let's talk about the radar again. Not quite as active as what we saw earlier this morning, but over the past hour, we have started to see some more scattered development across portions of the coastal plains. A little heavier downpour, a couple of lightning strikes actually. So now a thunderstorm there in northern Live Oak County. That is going to continue filtering farther up to the northeast. Kennedy, Karnes City, stretching over to Falls City, Poth, and Floresville. Seeing some rain there along the Highway 181 corridor. That's going to continue filtering farther up to the north. And if it can hold together, likely move into portions of Guadalupe as well as Gonzales counties. Speaking of Gonzales County, had a little downpour there that moved just to the west of Gonzales. That is now fizzled out. A little bit of light rain there near the Luling area. And then, of course, we continue to monitor a few lingering showers across portions of the hill country near Kerrville, Mountain Home, Comfort over there in Kendall County as well. But here in San Antonio, at least as of this noon hour, we are significantly drier than what we found out there earlier this morning. But here is the good news. Yes, we are tapping into much needed beneficial rainfall. This is the latest drought monitor that was actually released earlier this morning. It does not include the rain that we've seen today. It does not include the rain that we saw yesterday. But the good news is yes, we are picking up on some of those needed rainfall totals to hopefully help us get out of some of that harsher drought. So we'll keep eyes on it again throughout the remainder of the day. Keep the umbrella handy. You can see by evening commute time, it's possible we find some more scattered activity out there by 8 p.m. later this evening. Some additional showers, a couple of thunderstorms possible. That continues through the overnight hours tonight. Again, it's not going to rain all day, every day at your house, but off and on rain. Certainly the theme into our Friday as well. Tomorrow morning, the drive could be a little soggy yet again. And then into tomorrow afternoon, a few lingering showers, certainly not off the table before we dry things out Friday night and into early Saturday. So yes, chilly and breezy along with that today. We're in the 50s through Friday, 70s this weekend. Then we'll continue to warm things up as we head into early next week, guys.
Thank you, Mia.
MJ, a legend on the court because of his high flying skills and a legend off the court because of his flying sneakers. Now a movie takes a look at how a pair of shoes helped cement both Michael Jordan and Nike in history. The former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams has been named chair for the Race and Black Politics at Howard University. It is a new role at the school located in Washington, D.C. The school says Abrams will get to collaborate on research projects and host lecture series. She's set to start her new job in September. It's not her first time stepping into a higher education role. She was previously an adjunct professor at her alma mater, Spelman College.
Almost 50 years ago, Air Jordans immortalized Michael Jordan's skills on the basketball court as he earned a spot as one of the best NBA players of all time.
But CNN's David Daniels shows us how Nike's original collaboration with the basketball legend was no easy feat. And now you can see why in a new movie.
I need the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made. Who's the player? Michael Jordan.
Air looks at how an NBA rookie and a then struggling Nike struck a deal that would help make both icons.
Before this kind of incredible deal, they really were, these kind of renegades, kind of outsiders. I can tell them the one thing the other companies can't compete with. Our basketball division is terrible.
I do not love it.
It was a big, big deal for people my age, 15, 16, when Jordan came into the league and the shoes.
This is what I do. I find you players, and I feel it this time. Okay, it's risky. When you were selling sneakers out of the back of your Plymouth, that was risky. Don't change that now.
Director and co-star Ben Affleck talked with Jordan and got his blessing and a casting note.
Offhandedly, which is always a mistake, who do you think should play your mom? He said it has to be Viola Davis. And so I knew that it was incumbent on us to create a role that was worthy of Viola.
Do you typically make it a habit of showing up at people's front doors unannounced?
I don't like to take no for an answer.
It is flattering because I do go in with a sense of, do I belong, imposter syndrome. So it's nice to feel wanted. But then the next thought is, now I got to step into the role.
I believe in your son. I believe he's the future. And his story is going to make us want to fly. But a shoe is just a shoe.
Until my son steps into it.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I don't think a shoe is just a shoe anymore. What a great cast, huh?
And it really does look like a good movie. You're a sports guy. You'll be all over that.
We'll be on that one, that's for sure. Incredible. All right, let's get down to Jen. Do y'all have your Nike stuff on?
No.
I'm excited about that movie, though.
Yes.
Yeah, also.
Okay, but we are ready to hop to it. And you know who also is? The Easter Bunny. Yeah, that's right. We've got him here hopping around. And it's all to tell you about the extravaganza happening this Sunday at Tower of Americas.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun event. Also, if you need some fiesta gear, we have Indita Mia Artesanias, Maria Lopez joining us.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your hat because this goes back generations.
Yeah, so all of our hats are all handmade. They're very high quality palm and they embroider it all by hand. So they're beautiful, very fresh for the sun, for fiesta. super cute and colorful that could go with everything.
Wait till you see the other products she brought as well.
Yes, and they have a deal for SA Live viewers. You got to tune in to find out what that is. Speaking of Fiesta, the Texas Cavaliers River Parade. We're counting down to that. We have the parade marshal joining us, and we'll tell you just how many tickets are left. You still have time to get some tickets.
And, you know, with Easter coming up, what's your favorite thing to find in your Easter egg?
That's my favorite thing right there.
This is my least favorite thing. Nothing. Okay? So let us know at SA Live KSAT on Facebook and Twitter. You may see your answer in the show.